Good afternoon, race fans. Welcome to Indianapolis, Indiana, the Circle City, the birthplace of American motorsports and the home of Lucas Oil Raceway. The Vores Compact Touring Series is pleased to present the inaugural Vores Cup, the most prestigious front-wheel drive stock car race in America. Today's victory will earn the title of fastest compact racer in the USA. Nearly 100 compact racing teams from across the country have descended upon Raceway Park, hailing from 8 states and representing 34 home tracks in pursuit of the Vores Cup. The Vores Cup is presented by D&J Sales of Richmond, Indiana, East Central Indiana's favorite used car dealer. If you're looking for a quality previously owned vehicle, Chris Jennings and the Jennings family can meet your needs. And if you need creative financing, they can get that done for you too. D&J Sales of Richmond. Today's racing event is to compacts what Daytona is to NASCAR. The first race of the year, the biggest race of the year, being run on the longest, fastest, and widest surface a compact racer will likely ever see. This is truly the pinnacle of front-wheel drive stock car racing. Lucas Oil Raceway measures in at nearly 7/10 of a mile and presents compact racers with a wide-open Daytona-like feel. Today's event features competitors from Pennsylvania, New Hampshire, Connecticut, West Virginia, Ohio, Illinois, Iowa, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Indiana. It is without a doubt the finest field of compact racers ever assembled. Title sponsor of the Vores Compact Touring Series is Vores Welding and Steel of Fort Recovery, Ohio. Small enough to handle the little jobs, skilled enough to handle the big jobs, Vores Welding and Steel is your hometown industrial services provider. Specializing in steel fabrication, Vores Welding and Steel can handle long and short run jobs, weldments, on-site fabrication, custom piecework, and mobile repair. And if you need material, the Vores warehouse stocks steel, galvanized and stainless, plus aluminum. We remind you to support the businesses that support short track racing, and we thank Vores Welding and Steel for their support. The Vores Cup is the headline feature of the Cabin Fever weekend. The Cabin Fever is presented by the United Auto Workers of America and in support of the March of Dimes. We thank the UAW for supporting short track racing and benefiting the March of Dimes. The CRA Pace Truck has turned off its lights, and the fastest 34 compacts in America are about to take to the track. The invert for today's event is 13, putting the number A1 Motor Saturn of Mike Richardson on the pole. Beside him, VCTS regular Greg Isabel and his number 66 Chevy Cavalier. On the second row, in the D&J Sales Honda Accord number 6, Chris Jennings. Outside him, in the Spillers Towing and Unlocks number 38 Honda, it's Ryan Spillers. Third row on the inside, the Master Motorsports number 7C, Ron Masters. Next to him, in the Claiborne Auto Sales number 17, it's Ryan Claiborne. Ona Speedway's Joe Workman and the 9W Mitsubishi Eclipse starts in the 7th spot. Alongside him, in the Louisa Pizza 7D Ford Escort, it's Taylor Dawson. Fifth row on the inside from Sparta, Michigan, in the Enterprise Iron and Metal number 14, it's Bill Krupp. Outside him, in the Vores Welding and Steel number 9 Honda, it's Jason Timmerman. In the 11th spot, hailing from Waterloo, Wisconsin, in the Mod for Militia number 192, it's Kyle Stark. Starting 12th, also part of Team Mod for Militia, in the Monster 111, Devin Dixon. And in the 13th spot, your Phantom Race Gear Fast Qualifier, hailing from Hooksett, New Hampshire, in the RMS Motorsports number 63 Nissan Sentra, it's Nick Maniatis. To his right, hailing from West Liberty, Ohio, in the Sarah Manufacturing Honda Prelude, it's Gary Eaton Jr. In the 15th spot, in the 2004 Chevy Cavalier, making the haul from Oneida Speedway, it's the number 51 of Keith Watson. Beside him, in the race VCTS.com number 7B, it's Keith Barker. Starting 17th from Cedar Lake, Indiana, in the number 26 Honda, it's Josh Easto. 18th on the grid, piloting the number 18R, Lenzinga Auto Repair Chevy Cobalt, it's Cole Roloffs. Row 9, out of Kettering, Ohio, running the number 18 race VCTS Chevy Beretta, it's Nick Barrett. In the 20th spot, in the bright red Bryson Jeffs alignment number 64, it's Nick Pollitt. 21st on the grid, the Nissan 00 of David Dotery, and to his side, the number 38 Bryson Jeffs alignment Dodge Daytona of Larry Hughes Jr. Out of Rockton, Illinois, driving the CarCorner.net number 10, it's Steve Dixon. And starting 24th, in the Jack Daniels scheme number 07, out of Fort Recovery, Ohio, it's Vores Welding and Steel's Steve Vore. Making his way down from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, in the number 180 Hull-Holic Auto Salvage, it's Jay Orr. His roommate in the Bowling Automotive Service number 7P, it's Kyle Purdy. 27th on the grid, out of Newcastle, Indiana, in the Mount Lawn Hornets number 21, Rodney Sutton. Beside him, running the Vores Welding and Steel number 24T, it's Aaron Teagarden. 15th row on the inside, calling Mainsville, Ohio home. In the number 4, Druck Service Beretta, it's Jamie Druck. Starting 30th, in the A1 Motors A1X, it's Ryan Hoffman. In the 35th spot, driving the red, white, and blue 1-2-3, it's Adam Lee. 32nd spot starts the D&J Sales number 8 of Joe Jennings. Final row on the inside, in the Double B Garage number 1A, it's Mark Mason. And the D&J Sales Cup qualifier, making the show from the B main, in the Druck Service number 33, it's Jess Druck. 34 of the baddest and fastest compacts from across the country, preparing to take the green flag next time by. The inaugural Vores Cup, presented by D&J Sales. Over 70 cars hit the pavement this weekend. These are the 34 that are about to go 30 laps to determine who is the fastest front-wheel drive compact in America. Collect that giant $1,250 check and have their name engraved forever on the Vores Cup trophy. Richardson and Isabel on the front row. Their eyes are locked on head starter Justin Brown. He's in the flag stand. VCTS Series Director Dan Redmond on the Nitro B safe sievers, getting everybody grouped up nice and tight. Isabel, Richardson, and Brown drops the green flag. And we're green flag racing at Lucas Oil Raceway, the inaugural Vores Cup. Richardson leads them across the stripe. Richardson, Workman, and Jennings, 1, 2, 3 as they drag race down the backstretch. Ron Masters, Greg Isabel, Nick Maniatis, Kyle Stark, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th as they get 3 wide going through 3 and 4. Workman on the bottom, Jennings high and on the high side. And as they come back to the stripe for the first lap, it's Chris Jennings in the D&J Sales number 6 who will lead the first lap. VCTS's 2013 champion. Workman and Stark drag race down the backstretch. They're battling for second, and Stark drives it deep into turn 3. 4 car lengths he makes up on Jennings. Jennings on the high side, out of turn 4. He'll lead the second lap. Chris Jennings and Kyle Stark doing battle on the front stretch. Lap 2 running order: Jennings, Stark, Workman, Isabel, Claiborne, Richardson, Spillers, Maniatis, Masters, and Timmerman. That's your top 10. Into 3 and 4 go Jennings and Stark. Jennings on the high side, Stark on the low side. Stark powers his way through 3 and 4, picks up the lead, and as they head to the start-finish line, Kyle Stark will be your lap 3 leader. Let's take a moment to bring up our Noble Romans Take and Bake instant replay system here, as we'll take a look at a couple of incidents that nearly happened on the first lap. First, from the in-car camera of Bill Krupp, we see Krupp and Timmerman getting together on the exit of turn 2. Timmerman starts to turn across the nose of Krupp's car. Krupp takes it down to the bottom, gets on the binders, gives Timmerman the space and time to gather it back up. Both guys head down the backstretch. A big incident avoided there. Just ahead of them, from the in-car camera of Nick Maniatis, you see Maniatis, Stark, and Masters all fighting for the same real estate going into turn 1. They nearly wreck, but the great driving skill of these drivers allows them to gather their cars back up, and we continue to go green flag racing here at the Vores Cup. Back to live action, we got a great battle taking place between the 3rd, 4th, and 5th place cars as the Vores Welding and Steel number 9T of Jason Timmerman attempts to work his way through the field. 5 laps in, 25 laps to go here at the Vores Cup, presented by D&J Sales. Our lap 5 running order. In the lead, Kyle Stark, followed by Chris Jennings, Ryan Claiborne, Joe Workman, Ryan Spillers, Greg Isabel, Nick Maniatis, Ron Masters, Jason Timmerman, Devin Dixon, Gary Eaton Jr., Bill Krupp, Mike Richardson, Keith Watson, and Cole Roloff round out your top 15. On the backstretch, the number 1A of Mark Mason pulls it into the infield. Mason was racing today in memory of Jeff Sheldemine and Blaine Miller, 2 VCTS and front-wheel drive regulars who were tragically lost last year in a work-related traffic accident. We thank Mark and Pam for coming down and racing with us today. We're seeing some really good, hard, tough racing action throughout the field here today. We're going to bring up the Noble Romans Take and Bake instant replay system here again and take a quick look at an incident that almost happened. This from the in-car camera of Greg Isabel. Watch as he gets dead sideways in the middle of 3 and 4, almost loops it around, twists back towards the outside wall before gathering it back up and heading back down the straightaway. Incident averted. Great job of driving by the number 66, Greg Isabel. Today's race is being run on Hoosier 790 racing tires. Hoosier is the official tire provider of the Vores Compact Touring Series, and we thank them for their support. Nick Maniatis has worked his way up into 4th place. Maniatis was the Phantom Racing Gear Fast Qualifier, along with picking up the Applebee's Awards for Fast Qualifier and Farthest Haul. We thank the Speedway Applebee's for partnering with the Vores Compact Touring Series. They were a great host, and we had a very enjoyable evening at their establishment last night. We'd also like to thank Jack Oakley from Holt, Michigan for making the drive down from Spartan Speedway to be our videographer today. Jack regularly captures all the action at Spartan and Springport Speedways, and we appreciate him lending us a hand today. When you drop back to that second group, you're seeing some incredible racing right now. The front group, Stark has pulled out to a short lead, Jennings in second. Then we have quite the battle, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Stark has pulled out to a half straightaway lead, but we have outstanding racing taking place deeper into the field as Dixon, Pollitt, Barker, Hughes, and Sutton all battle for position. Pollitt, Hughes, and Sutton, you might notice, are the only V6 powered cars in today's race. Those Daytonas commonly can be found at Mount Lawn Speedway, just down the road a bit in Newcastle, Indiana, where the Vores Compact Touring Series South Division will be visiting on June 21st. The Vores Compact Touring Series will kick off the 2014 point season on May 9th at Whitewater Valley Speedway in Liberty, Indiana. VCTS South heads off to the very racy 1/3 mile dirt track, while VCTS North will be at M40 Speedway the following night, Saturday, May 10th, for their season opener. Nearly $5,000 sits in the combined Vores Welding and Steel Points Fund. VCTS will have a North and a South divisional champion, plus crown an overall Vores Compact Touring Series champion. A minimum of $1,000 will be awarded to the series champion. At the head of the field, the number 192 of Kyle Stark continues to lead. In second place, Chris Jennings. Chris Jennings' rearview mirror is filled with the number 17 of Ryan Claiborne, and he's closely followed by the number 9 of Aaron Timmerman and the number 63 of Nick Maniatis. Timmerman closes up on Claiborne, drops to the bottom, and as they race down the front stretch, Timmerman moves up into 3rd place, and he'll now be setting his sights on the number 6 of Chris Jennings. As we look down into the race crowd, we see a lot of bright orange VCTS Series t-shirts, and we'd like to thank Phantom Racing Gear for designing those great t-shirts and coming on board to present the Phantom Racing Gear Challenge Series. The Challenge Series is 6 race events happening on each of the major summer holiday weekends, with a 7th final championship night taking place at historic Winchester Speedway on the Friday of the Winchester 400 weekend. These Challenge Series events bring all of the stars and cars of both the South and the North Series together in head-to-head shootouts in what surely will be some of the best compact racing action you'll see over the course of the 2014 season. The first Challenge Series weekend is on Memorial Day weekend, Saturday and Sunday, May 24th and 25th. On the 24th, the Miller Shelmadine Memorial will be run at Angola Motorsport Speedway, and the following late afternoon, the Miller Mafia Challenge will be run at Montville Speedway. $1,000 is on the line if you can sweep those 2 events. Special thanks to Double B Garage, Blaine Miller Road Service, and Spillers Towing and Unlocks for presenting this great weekend of front-wheel drive compact racing action. This is quite the battle we're seeing right now for the 18th position, as the Bryson Jeffs alignment number 64 of Nick Pollitt leads a tight group of 8 cars, with Rodney Sutton and Keith Barker right on his rear bumper, Steve Dixon, Jay Orr, and Kyle Purdy door to door, and Larry Hughes and Ryan Hoffman nose to tail, all within 0.4 of a second of each other. With 15 laps complete and 15 laps to go, your top 15 are, in the number 192 car, leading the field, Kyle Stark. Chasing after him in the number 6, Chris Jennings, followed by Jason Timmerman, Nick Maniatis, Bill Krupp, Ryan Claiborne, Ryan Spillers, Gary Eaton Jr. in the number 18 car, followed by Devin Dixon, Joe Workman, Cole Roloffs, Greg Isabel, Ron Masters, Mike Richardson, and Keith Watson round out the top 15. Jason Timmerman has finally caught on to the back bumper of Jennings. Timmerman has been slowly but methodically gaining on the second place D&J Sales number 6, and with just over 10 laps to go, the pair of VCTS regulars are now locked in a door-to-door battle for second place. Jennings is not budging from the high groove where he has been comfortably running since the first lap of the race, while Timmerman is doing everything he can to get by on the bottom. Timmerman looks like he has the power needed to get by as he grabs sole possession of second place and sets his sights on Stark. Another good battle for position is being waged over the 15th spot as the Louisa's Pizza number 7D of Taylor Dawson, the 00 Nissan of David Dodery, and the number 7 of Steve Vore swap spots back and forth, each trying to improve their position on the track. We just can't stress enough the high quality of racing action we are seeing today, from the front of the field all the way through the back of the field. Right now, near the tail, we have a group of 5 cars giving it everything they got as Nick Barrett, Ryan Halfman, Adam Lee, Jamie Drook, and Joe Jennings, 6 very fast race cars who commonly find themselves in the top 5, are locked up in a battle for the 27th position. This was the kind of competition that brings 70 teams together to chase the most prized trophy in compact racing, the Vores Cup. Kyle Stark continues to lead with 10 laps to go, and Timmerman, the second place car, goes up in smoke. Oh, tough break for the Pioneer, Ohio driver. That moves Jennings back into second, followed by Maniatis, Krupp, and Fort Wayne's Ryan Spillers now joining the top 5. Timmerman had been slowly gaining on our leader, but like the saying goes, you're fastest just before you blow, and that looks to be the case today as Jason Timmerman spews smoke. Timmerman moves it down into the low groove, keeps the oil out of the racing surface, and pulls it into the infield off the backstretch. We're going to stay green flag racing here as the 9T did a good job staying out of the racing groove, getting to the bottom, allowing the green flag to stay in the air. 23 laps in, and we've gone green the whole way. Tremendous exhibition of driving ability today by these compact racers. By far the best racing action we've seen here at Lucas Oil Raceway today. As the laps continue to click down, Stark maintains a comfortable lead while a group of 4 cars does battle for the second spot. Oh, and now Jennings has fallen off the pace. Something wrong with the D&J Sales number 6 as his car snaps and pops down the front stretch. Maniatis jumps up into second, Krupp into third as the 013 champ struggles to hold on to fourth. Spillers in the 38, Eaton in the 18, and Dixon in the Monster 111 are now going at it over the 5th spot. The 18E is a regular at Shady Bowl Speedway in DeGraff, Ohio, where the Vores Compact Touring Series will visit twice this season, while the 38 of Spillers has announced he'll split time between the VCTS North and South Series. Dixon is a regular at Jefferson Speedway in Wisconsin, but hinted he might make the drive back into Vores territory for a challenge race or 2 this season. Those challenge races, as we mentioned earlier, will kick off on Memorial Day weekend. The second pair of races in the Phantom Racing Gear Challenge Series will take place on July 4th and 5th at M40 Speedway, as the Great American Dash finds itself in Jones, Michigan. Located just across the Michigan-Indiana border, in the heart of Michiana, the Great American Dash will feature back-to-back nights of VCTS racing action, plus outlaw super late models, modifieds, midgets, pro stocks, and street stocks, plus a spectacular fireworks display. The Great American Dash, you're not going to want to miss it. And then on Labor Day, a Saturday-Sunday tandem of events as the Vores Compact Touring Series returns to Angola Motorsport Speedway for the We Hop Challenge, and then on Sunday heads to Winchester for the Phantom Racing Gear 40 held at historic Winchester Speedway. 27 laps in, 3 laps left to go for the black and white number 192. Oh, and the caution comes out. The Ona Speedway 9W of Joe Workman gets into the backstretch wall, and that brings out the first caution of the race. Oh, Stark didn't want to see that. And the prayers of the chase group are answered as we'll have ourselves a double file restart with just 3 laps left to go. The Lucas Oil Raceway safety team rolls onto the track to check on Workman and confirm our driver is okay. It wasn't a very hard hit. Looks like Workman got just a bit jiggy coming out of turn 2, and the backstretch wall reached out and grabbed him. Safety crew gives us the thumbs up. Good to see Joe's okay. We'll be back green flag racing in just a sec. The CRA pace truck has turned off its lights, and Vores head flagman Justin Brown is giving us the 1 to go sign. Kyle Stark gets lane choice here. He can choose to pick the high side or the low side to restart this race. Maniatis will start second, Krupp in third, Chris Jennings will start in the 4th spot, followed by Ryan Spillers, Gary Eaton Jr., Devin Dixon, and Cole Roloffs. In the 9th spot, we'll have Tyler Dawson in the 7D car, followed by Keith Watson, Ron Masters, Mike Richardson, David Dodery, and Greg Isabel. Behind them, Joe Jennings in the number 8, Aaron Teagarden in the number 24, Keith Baker, Steve Vore, Steve Dixon, Nick Pollitt, and Jay Orr round out the top 20. Rodney Sutton in the 21, Jess Drook, Kyle Purdy, Larry Hughes, Ryan Hoffman, Nick Barrett, Adam Lee, and Jamie Drook round out the 29 cars still racing here today in the inaugural Vores Cup. Stark has chosen the traditional inside spot. The field is slowly getting grouped 2 by 2 as the leaders head into turn 4. We are going to have 3 laps left to decide whom the Vores Cup champion will be. And as the green flag drops, Maniatis gets off to a great start. The New Hampshire driver leads the field across the start-finish line and down into turn 1. Lots of action going on through the field as these drivers battle for position. Maniatis pulls out to a 2-car length lead over Stark. Around goes Dixon. Hard contact with the inside wall. The caution comes out, and just like that, Maniatis' golden ticket disappears. Maniatis had been hoping to get a restart to give him a heads-up opportunity to show Stark what he had, and show him he did. Now it's Stark's turn getting a second chance to pick his lane and restart the race. I'm sure this isn't the way Steve Dixon envisioned his day ending. The Rockford, Illinois police chief and race director at Rockford Speedway is a traditional frontrunner in his bright yellow Ford Focus, but in a field of 34 very fast cars, there's bound to be some heartbreak. The Lucas Oil Raceway safety team at the window of Steve Dixon's car, checking him out, making sure everything's okay. We can see the window net is down as Steve Dixon starts to make his way out the window. Good to see he's okay. That was a pretty hard hit that Steve took there against the inside wall. You see Dixon wearing his Next Gen Rev neck brace, a head and neck restraint device he purchased this week through a special that Vores Compact Touring Series offered. Let's bring up the Noble Romans Take and Bake Pizza instant replay system here as we go inside the number 38 of Larry Hughes. Larry Hughes trailing behind Dixon as they went into turns 1 and 2. All of the drivers trying hard to improve their positions as they went through 1 and 2. The drivers made it 3 wide on the exit of 2. Dixon gets a little bit loose, then makes contact, and around he goes into the inside wall. Great view here from Larry Hughes' car. I think we have another angle on this same incident as we flip over to the number 21 Rodney Sutton car. Sutton a little bit farther forward as they went into 1. You'll see Dixon's car come into view. Great drive into 1 and 2. Dixon taking a peek between the Teagarden car and the Barker car. Teagarden and Barker, the hole kind of closes up in front of Dixon. He's got no place to go as he spins off the nose of the Sutton car. We'll take one more look at it, this time from inside the Kyle Purdy car. Purdy got a great restart on the race. In the high groove, he's just outside Dixon. immediately behind the Barker car. As you can see, Dixon trying to slide up in between the Teagarden and Barker car, and the hole he was looking for just went away, made contact with Barker, and then around he went down on into the inside wall. Bad break for Steve Dixon, trying to make something happen here with 3 laps left to go. As you can see, the number yellow 10 car on the hook making its way into the infield. 3 laps left to go in this race. 27 in the book, 3 to go. The CRA pace truck turns off its lights as head starter Justin Brown holds up the 1 to go sign. Next time by, these guys will be getting the green flag. We'll have 3 laps once again to settle the score to determine who is the 2014 Vores Cup champion and the fastest compact racer in America. Kyle Stark taking the outside line this time by, forcing Nick Menateus to choose the inside line. During this caution period, Chris Jennings had to pull the number 6 into the pits. He was having problems slowing on the racetrack. He'll have to go to the tail end of the lead lap. So on this restart, the top 8 will be the 192 of Stark, the 63 of Menateus, the 14 of Krupp, the 38 of Spillers, the 18E of Gary Eaton Jr., the 111 of Dixon, the 18R of Cole Roloffs, and making his first appearance in the top 10, the 7D of Taylor Dawson. Both cars side by side, eyes locked on to starter Brown, awaiting the drop of the green flag, and here we go. Menateus again jumps out to the quick lead, crossing the start-finish line with a 1-car lead. Stark powers back on the outside, retaking the top spot as the 2 drag race down the backstretch. The pair of Nissans side by side down the back straightaway. Spillers and Krupp giving chase. Two to go. The 63 dives to the bottom. Stark holding off Menateus. The 63 with a slight bobble on the bottom, while Stark takes it 2 wide, car length lead down the backstretch. Into 3 and 4. Menateus closes in. As the white flag comes out, Kyle Stark has 1 lap to go. Menateus tries it this time on the high side. Stark defending the low groove. Spillers in 3rd. Dixon jumps into the fray, taking over the 4th spot. Down the back straightaway they go. Final time into turns 3 and 4. Menateus closes up onto Stark's rear bumper. We're going to have a drag race down to the finish line. And Stark blows up right as he crosses the start-finish line, taking the checkered flag. Carl Stark goes up in smoke. Menateus in 2nd, Spillers 3rd, Dixon 4th, Krupp 5th. Oh my, what Menateus wouldn't give for 100 more yards of blacktop. Oh, Kyle Stark must be the luckiest man in all of Indiana today, as the 192 Nissan Sentra blows up, crossing the start-finish line, leaving a trail of smoke and oil, but the victory secure in his hands. 2nd place, Nick Menateus. 3rd place, Ryan Spillers. 4th place, Devin Dixon. And 5th place, out of Berlin Raceway, Bill Krupp. Menateus pulls alongside Stark, gives him a friendly wave, and now, in a great display of sportsmanship, we see Menateus pull up to the back bumper of Stark's car. He's not going to let our champion die on the racetrack. He's going to give him a push back around to the start-finish line where he can join his friends and family in celebration. Kyle Stark, your 2014 Vores Cup champion and the fastest front-wheel drive racer in America. How about that? What we're going to do right now is throw the microphone over to Andy Jack. Andy Jack is down on the race surface, and he's going to have the interview with our race winners.
Kyle Stark's race car. Race fans, he's up out of the car. Probably the luckiest man in Indianapolis, Indiana. How about it for Kyle Stark out of Waterloo, Wisconsin? Kyle, what happened?
I think it just blew up.
Certainly. But you got $1,250, covers the gas, doesn't cover the motor. What are some of the sponsors that helped you? It's certainly a big win for you.
All the guys that came with me, my dad, Scott here, Devin in the 111, he came with, rode down with me in his car, and everyone else that helped out. Thanks.
Talk about the restarts. It looks like you struggled on them a little bit, but you had the field covered pretty much. And what's it like racing on this big racetrack?
It's pretty fun, a lot faster than normally used to, but definitely a lot funner.
Where do you usually race at?
Up in Wisconsin at pretty much any track up there, someplace different.
From all the way from New Hampshire, 900 miles, 16 hours. But to come that short, it'll hurt. It'll be a rough ride home for that, but at least we don't have to change a motor.
Hey, now, he's our... All right, what are some of the sponsors that helped you out? And talk about the Northeast Mini Stock Tour a little bit, because we're kind of using you guys as a guinea pig to help us out.
Yeah, it's a great touring division that we have up in New England. We race mainly New Hampshire, Connecticut, in that New England area. It's put on by Bob Guptill. He started it himself, grew it from just a couple cars all the way to 20, 30 cars a week, running the tour, running at places like Loudon, road course races, dirt track races. So it's all up to, and thanks to him for putting it all on.
Well, again, thank you for traveling, and thank you again for all your help with the restrictor tubes. And definitely, have you ever competed with this big of a field of cars before?
Only in big crash-up races. We call the Halloween Howler up our way, but not with these types of cars. These are some fast cars and good racers, so glad to be out here.
All right, thank you again. Have a great one. You had a fast hot rod as the race got a little bit better. It looked like you're getting racy. It just looked like you ran out of a little bit of motor in the race car in this big track.
Yeah, I didn't run out of motor. This is the first time in this car. This is the first time it's ever been on the track. I had to get used to it. I missed the first practice session today, group qualifying, but I had to go to the parts store to get some spark plugs.
That's always good. So what are some of the sponsors that helped you out here?
I'd like to thank my grandpa, my dad, my mom, Keith Barker in the back. He helped me build this car. Bought it from him last October. It's a real fast car. He knows what he's doing. I'd like to thank Economy Auto Parts, Spiller Cycle, Verizon Wireless in Fort Wayne, 20 Past 4 and more, Group 5 Graphics, King's John's, Blaine Miller Road Service. Pam's back there. She helped me a lot on this car. And my business, Spiller's Towing and Unlocks.
Well, again, thank you for supporting the Vores Cup, and certainly will we see you in some of the South races?
Yeah, I'm going to try to run a few of the South races. Try to run my home track, Bearfield. I got to run another car. I got to finish putting that back together. We kind of scrunched it up at Winchester last October, but we'll get her back. We'll keep going.
All right, race fans, again, how about it for all 65 competitors?